Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. We are here with our special guest today, Robyn Sims. Robyn, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've been working on you for a while to get you in, and the stars lined up, and it happened. So thank you again so much. Hey guys, today's topic is I lost everything of value, including my integrity and self-worth. So this is definitely a story you're going to want to stick around and listen to, because this is going to be incredible. I'm even starting to get a little emotional even just talking about it, because I know Robyn, and this is actually going to be the first time I've heard more of her story. So you're definitely going to stick around and listen to this whole thing. It's a must. See, I'm threatening you guys right now. You got to stick around and listen to this. I also want to say thank you to my buddy TJ. Thanks for coming in again, man, and being
always
the co-host.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
I love this with you.
It's great. Janessa, who used to come in with Mel, so Mel comes in like every other week, and Janessa, but she had her baby, and her husband.
I'm not pregnant, so that's a
and
good
you're
thing.
Not pregnant, so yeah, I don't have to worry about you leaving because of a birth, which is really good. And Janessa, they're moving to New Hampshire. Her husband's had some health issues due to a car accident, and the doctor said you need to get in some thinner air, and they went back there for a little bit, and his headaches completely stopped. And so we're definitely going to miss her. So
Janessa's been put up for future draft choice, and now I'm the new draft.
You're the new draft.
All right,
good. New draft. And, I do my best to usually have women co-host. Yeah. I learned that from George Burns. For those of you that, I don't know if you know who, I'm aging myself a little bit. George Burns always surrounded himself with beautiful women. Now you're saying to come in a different
dress.
That's the thing.
You're saying come in a different dress next
Yeah, come in with a different thing. So,
I get it.
You could be like Klinger on MASH, right?
Anyways, it's a pleasure, Al.
Thank you.
Rob, I'm so excited to be here and see how this goes about. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, you are the reason that we met.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Go
so thank you. Yeah, TJ and we were out golfing one time, and he says, "Have you heard the Other Side Academy?" And I says, "I have." And I says, "I think I drove past," because my wife was actually going to the Odyssey at the time, and I left one day, and I went, "Oh crap, there's the Other Side Academy." But she says, "Hey, I know a gal out there by the name of Robyn, and I'd like to connect you." And you did. And I reached out to Robyn, and she responded right away. And I think within a week, I was there at the Other Side Academy, and you gave me an incredible tour. And it was almost like I've known you all my life,
right.
which is really cool, because I don't know, maybe I guess we both kind of have that personality where there's no stranger, everyone's a friend until you decide if they don't want to be a friend. I don't know. It's I got introduced to Dave, and I have just had the honor and the privilege of meeting so many amazing people from the Other Side Academy. And again, thank you, TJ, for that.
Well, the Other Side of Addiction, the Other Side Academy.
Yeah.
It's just a synergistic situation for you, no doubt.
It is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So, Robyn, gosh, let's get into this, because we know you got a busy schedule and you have a lot going on, and we want to respect your time. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Are you originally from Utah?
I am. I was actually born in Sandy, Utah.
Okay.
I have 4 brothers and many cousins, so it's like having 10 brothers because they're all male too. So, fun fact, my pride came into play very early. I was very competitive, I love sports. I was seeking Dad's approval at a very young age, It's funny to say, but literally I wanted to prove that I was stronger than all the boys. So I was signing up for football and all those things. And that's actually where I gained one of my number one life lessons, and that's to never give up. And I'm super glad that I, have that to this day. Unfortunately, my second life lesson is, the power in drugs and surrounding yourself with all the wrong people. And it's not a very good lesson, but I use it today, so I'd never go back to it. So it kind of gets dark really fast, and it wasn't always like that. My family, we were loving. My brothers, they're my best friends in the entire world. When I say brothers, the cousins too. I was very protected, but it also made me think I was invincible. And so living like that all the way up to age 11, you can imagine I was a thrill seeker, and also searching for a woman connection, if you will. My mother was around, but I was never really around any of the girls. And so I ventured off, a couple of blocks, and I met a girlfriend where she also had older brothers, but they lived a little bit different than my brothers did. This is the jock, the partiers, our house, uncle's fighting, but we break bread in the morning. That's normal, in my eyes.
Yeah,
now hindsight's 2020. Remember, you'll probably hear me say that a lot. But venturing off to that, accepted as one of the young sisters, and they happen to be, gang affiliated, stuff like that. What comes with all of that. But
it's that desire to be wanted, loved, needed, and part of something.
Yeah, well, I felt part of. I feel like it was because I was a part of my family. I mean, I was very accepted, but I was searching for something that I don't exactly know what it was. And now to this day, hindsight's 2020. Yeah. It's that woman connection. I wanted to be around females too.
So it wasn't a rebel connection. It was the woman connection.
Well, it became that. The rebel connection I found, but then I found the rebel connection. So when my brothers would say, hey, they're dangerous, don't hang out with them. Bet your booty I was out there hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And so at a very young age, when I'm hanging out at the party house, if you will, I probably, and it sounds like I'm glorifying, but really I was just naive. And that's where I kind of want that to be put in there. It's not where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm around all these drugs. I mean, this isn't little baggies. This is garbage bags. This is, this is the spot.
This is big time, yeah.
This is big time, but it's money and partying, and it's not necessarily the sickness that comes with the drugs and all of that. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know that there was another side to it.
Yeah.
I was very young. I was immature. It was
How
11.
How old were you?
I think she's
Probably around 10, 11. You're dabbling in the marijuana and the drinking and that, not tons of it, but around tons of it. So it just was more so, I guess it turned into that, like you're saying, the rebel and being a part of. And now I was a part of something that was exciting. Remember, I'm a thrill seeker.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
absolutely.
Here we are, we're doing this. And eventually, you get in trouble at a young age, but you're getting underage alcohol tickets. You're getting, me, underage alcohol tickets, or mom's picking you up, but the people you're hanging out with, they're going to prison. Or they're getting, you know what I mean? I'm hanging out with a much older crowd, the older brothers of hers, And so those things start to add up, and I'm getting gang affiliated. I'm not in the gang, but this comes out later in my story.
It's kind of like that molding, right?
Yes.
You're molding towards
well,
it.
and I don't realize, okay, there's a mark, right?
Yeah.
And so, gosh, I mean, and I don't want to go into all of it. You know what that looks like, the hanging out, the partying, all that stuff. But at age 17, again, being told, don't hang out with this person without any names, of course I'm going to go and hang out with that person. And I wind up pregnant and running away to Canada with him. He actually had to flee. And the story's not about him. I jumped on that train really quick. Here we go, adrenaline, I'm going. And by 17, I found myself, I ended up pregnant and in very dangerous situations where I'm not, trying to protect my child. I'm in that protector mode of trying to protect my husband and, committing armed robberies while pregnant. The ignorance in that, the immaturity, but again, the naive of a little girl. I'm living as a little girl.
So a survival situation plus you're a protector. You're trying to do all that.
Right.
too.
And it's like I put myself in those situations, though. I landed myself there. Like I went with that. But now that I'm in it, Remember that never give up attitude? I'm in it. I'm with him. You know what? Of course I'm pregnant. That's my child. I'm having that.
And again, you get into thrill seeking. I mean, that adrenaline that you probably had while you're in that lifestyle was probably another addiction. Adrenaline is an addiction. So that was probably
absolutely.
the other side of it.
I was lost. Yeah. I mean, literally at that age, I left everyone that I loved. I was really, the real protection was with my own brothers and my own family. They loved me. I loved them dearly. Where was I running to? You know what I mean? And so going in those situations, I created not only an environment, but those were my responsibilities now. I'm pregnant. I married him. We're doing things together. I'm sorry, I could be in a room with 5 guys that are going in with him. They're not going to protect him like me. but I'm not thinking, at that age, I'm not thinking of my child. But I should have been. That doesn't excuse it. I should have been. I ignored examples that I could have had in really good people in my life. You know, they had their faults. You know, I did, drink with my parents and smoke weed, all those things. Like, they could have done, better, right? But that's not their fault. I knew I was making poor decision after poor decision. No matter what anybody told me, I was choosing the opposite. If it was healthy, I was going the other way.
Yeah.
Not okay.
And to pause you for a minute, I believe a lot of people who are on the other side of addictions, where we don't understand the steps that people go through who do battle the addiction and get lost in life. And I may be wrong, Robyn, I don't know. And I'm just going off of my experience with my wife, is you make these choices and whether you're gung-ho in it or, like you said, the adrenaline, I'm going to do whatever, and the rebellion, don't tell me because I'm still going to do this. By the time you really start opening your eyes, you're already waist deep, if not further. And it seems to happen like that, even though it doesn't. It's that long process.
Like you said, that grooming process that happens.
It still happens like that. And then once you are, like you just said, you're in it.
Oh, I'm all the way in.
Yeah.
I'm above waist deep. I'm completely immersed in that. I'm dancing with the devil, if you will. Again, not knowing the sickness of drug, but now I'm starting to see it in who I'm around and, living out there. And I start, obviously, you're committing crime, stuff like that. Well, I end up getting caught at a grocery store, matter of fact. And there's a whole huge...
In the States or in Canada?
Still in Canada.
Okay.
Still in Canada.
So we moved out to the reservation out there, and that's where we lived, and I ended up having my baby. And, there's a story and excuse after excuse I can find in there of why I was there and what I was doing, but I was doing it, right? And the police, they come in 5 deep to arrest me. Now, I was stealing a camera, and they were taking my information, and I was bawling. Think about this. I mean, my child is at home. I'm a young mother. I'm out there doing this. But when the going gets tough and it's hot, guess what? I'm crying. My kid's at home. Let me go home. But in that moment, like, I was really feeling that.
Yeah.
But where was that before I left and I was doing what I was doing, right? And see, this is what I told you. I can tell it now how it should have been, but in that moment, I wasn't living like that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Do you find our society is changing in that way, or do you find that a lot of the kids still at that age are going through a lot of that more so than ever, or not as much?
I'm not sure.
What do you see? Like kids around that same age, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
I bet
are
Al
they
can
still
answer that. I bet how many people are you interviewing that it's starting around 11 years old?
It starts hitting right around the puberty time.
Yep.
That's when it hits.
The reason why I say is because I think the listeners also need to hear that.
Absolutely.
Be cautious of it and start to look at situations about there. We're talking about the other side of addiction. These are people who are support and help, that they need to have that empathetic, understanding, loving, communicative type of way with their kids at an early age. I wanted to throw that out because I think that's one of the solutions
and you're
that
right.
should have been had.
You are absolutely right. I mean, like I said, I have to allow my parents at some point to own their part in some, but no matter if they were trying to tell me different, I wouldn't have followed that. That was me. That was my...
I think that's most kids in the rebellious stage. It's
right.
like, we're going to do whatever we want to do just to prove you wrong, but they don't know what right or wrong really is. It's just wrong in their mind.
You want to know where they can own their part is... At that point, they knew that about me, and that stopped, and it was just kind of like, okay, you're going to Canada. All right. And it wasn't like they were pushing me out. They were just kind of like, gosh, there's nothing I can really do. Arrest me.
Yeah.
From a parent that's...
Have somebody come get
From
me.
a parent that's been with that situation too, Robyn, I've kind of seen that on my own. It's not that I didn't want to support my son, not that I didn't want to support what was going on, but it was almost like, oh, okay, whoo, there's some solutions and some help. I'm not stressed anymore. And maybe I needed to own a little more to help my son in certain things. But now, back to your story when we're done. I would like to
and then thinking about it, like, they didn't want to call the cops on me. I was pregnant and I was 17, so I find compassion in them too. But now, what I know now, somebody needs to step in. I don't care if somebody needs to step in, and it needs to be jolting. I could go on and on about things that we could do better, obviously in our system. How we feel about it and we see it, because I mean, there were so many things, and you'll hear that I get away with, no prison, and so there's a lot of things that go into that, but I always think every one of us, there's something that we could have done better.
So back to you're handcuffed. You're crying.
Oh, I'm not even handcuffed yet.
You're not even handcuffed yet. You're still crying.
Listen to what I do.
Okay. Oh,
I literally am.
This is getting to be more drama. Are we all in tune here?
I grocery shop, and I have this little disposable camera that I'm stealing because I want to send pictures of my newborn child to my family. And I'm just like, I find that is okay to do. I could have paid for it. Come on, what was I doing?
Good rationalization.
Yeah, I could have paid for it. Anyways, I run my card to pay for my stuff, and it doesn't work. Well, for some reason, I don't think maybe it didn't run for, I don't know. I thought they were setting me up. I'm paranoid, right? I'm like, oh, crap. So I leave, and I start to walk out, and I almost get to the car. And, ma'am, I hear this guy behind me. I'm like, oh, he's talking to me. And he's like, we're going to need our camera back. And I hand it back, and he's like, it's not that easy, come in. Why I went in that store changes my journey
the
forever.
whole trajectory of everything that you did.
Yes, because I would run. Are you kidding? Not only am I crying that I have a kid at home, please just don't have the I'll come back in. Don't have the cops come. Please don't have them come. I don't have any papers. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not thinking of all my other stuff. Remember those nicks I talked about?
Yeah.
Well, I get back inside. I write down my new last name, and he knows my husband. They've had their beef, whatever that looks like. Again, I find that out later. Next thing you know, I'm thinking I'm walking out, and there's 5 police officers coming in. I'm arrested. I'm in the back of their car, and when I'm telling you I'm losing my crap, I am losing my crap. I am bawling. Please do not deport me. They said that, we ran your name. You're gang affiliated in Utah. You are not staying in Canada. You have no papers.
Wow.
They're giving it to me raw. Well, they take me to jail. Again, I'm not even 18, but I go to jail.
How old were you?
17.
17, okay.
17, probably soon turning 18.
Okay, all right.
Anyways, they put me in jail for a few days. And, mind you, I'm in a place I have nowhere. I don't even know really where I am on the map. Like, I
Are
live
they
in
treating you at
Stanton.
that point as an adult or as a juvenile?
They're deporting me from Canada. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's just like you're done.
They're wanting you out.
Yeah, I
they
am
want
being
you gone.
deported with running my name. It's not the underage alcohol tickets or anything like that. It's showing affiliations within gangs and a violent gang. At that point, it was a very violent gang in Utah, for Utah to see anyway. So I'm sure whomever worded it or however that works, it didn't look good because they were taking me to jail and they were deporting me. And so that God shot of why I went back in, I don't know. But I get deported and I'm back home and I'm embraced by my family. I'm back safe with my brothers and, I'm home. And it's sad to me still because I have such a strong tie that I got to get back though. That's my husband. Like, I've made my bed. I'm going to lie in it. Basically, that's what my ultimate goal was. But I was kicked out of Canada for 10 years. So, I don't know how to do anything with what comes to that. And was I even in that mindset? My mindset was, oh man, I gotta, I kind of want to go back to my husband. I can't. Do I sneak? You're coming up with all these creative ways to go back, but also enjoying that my family's with me. My son got to come with me. They only deported me to Seattle and allowed, again, having family step in, my grandmother to pay for a ticket for my son and I to be able to make it back to Utah. So I was at least I got to have him come with me. About 6 months, a year later, I let my son go back to Canada. This is where my emotion comes in. This is, it's hard for me to talk about, unless I'm just owning it for what it is. And and it's still hard for me to talk about.
Right.
But, him showing up at the jail when I was being deported and bringing my son made me feel like he didn't have to do that. I owe this to him. He can see his son too. I mean, I send my son back, and
Your son's just over a year at this point.
Yeah, he's
a toddler still.
He's almost a year or barely over a year. You know, your time starts getting, well, my brain starts getting a little jaded after these facts. But I allow my son to go back thinking it's a 2-week visit. And immediately as he's driving off, you know, I probably wanted my little bit of freedom too, and the party. And he's going with his dad, you know.
You're still young.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's where I got to own it. You know, I wasn't thinking about anything else but myself right then. And, I'm keeping a commitment to his father. And I send him for 2 weeks, which turns into 20 years. I mean, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't come back. Let's say
Holy
that
cow.
He didn't get to come back. And honestly, that sends me through a spiral of all kinds of stuff.
I
mean,
imagine.
it doesn't even send me there. It becomes my excuse to become a really severe alcoholic. I mean, nobody wanted to be around. I would hang out. I had tons of people to be around, but when I was drinking, my goodness, it turned into tears. My son, I'm not allowed to go back and get him. You know, all these things. I could have fought harder. That's where I get to own it as a parent. I could have fought harder to go back and get him.
But it's easy for us as humans to fall into our emotions, right? I mean, and I couldn't even imagine as a mother, you know, those emotions that you were going through, because you're still very young. And I can imagine even after 5 years goes by, now you're in your 20s, but we're still kids, basically in our 20s.
Well, I stopped growing at 11.
Yeah, you stopped growing at 11 and started, you know, being in the grown-up world.
Absolutely.
And I just can't imagine, well, yeah, I can't imagine being in those shoes, but also I know how easy it is for all of us to fall into our emotions. You know, because we all seem to put that pity party on ourselves and not thinking in the right way, I guess, you know, because of those emotions.
It's the sickness of me. It's me.
Yeah, the sickness of me, and I like that. That's a good way of putting it, the sickness of me, because that's basically how it is.
I don't love that, but I love the quote.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
love
and
it.
that's where it was. I mean, I made decisions. Not only was I using alcohol, I was trying to fill that void with men, or you know, there's just things that come in. Eventually, I have more children, and forgive me, they're not just children now; they're my kids.
Yeah,
I have
absolutely.
3 beautiful kids that are now adults. But in that moment, I'm feeling a void. There's more
And
kids.
they still never had a relationship with your other son during that period?
Fun fact that's all building now. They actually have
now, but they did during that period.
No, during that period, there was a glimpse that he happened to be in the States that maybe 8-10 years later that we got to see him for a second, and then he's gone again.
Want to ask a
like
question?
literally a second, and he's gone again.
That was it.
With the influence that your son had then growing up, did he fall into that same scenario growing up himself?
He's a psychologist right now. He
Oh
is.
my gosh, that's so cool.
All 3 of my children
That is
did
awesome.
not follow my path. And I am so blessed. So blessed that they did not. Now, can I say I have a hand in that? No. But I think seeing their mother the way that they did, with conversations from them, had steered them in the right direction.
You know what, though, and I want to respect what you said. However, I still feel like you did have a hand in that, Robyn. And the reason why is, now see, I get emotional. Talk about it. Even though it took till 2016 when you got out of jail, you broke that chain.
Yeah.
You know, and those links weren't combined for, I mean, yeah, your kids got to see you go through everything that you went through, and they probably experienced a lot of crap. But when you broke that link, you broke that cycle. That's how I like to look at it. Just,
well, I see that now.
You know, yeah.
With what I'm building with them now. I mean, just like you said, the topic, I lost my self-worth. I was no longer a woman of my word. When I say that I'm feeling all those voids, I'm also, you know, getting charges, you know, stuff like that, broken marriages, and no longer than maybe, where was I going with that? No longer than literally probably trying to think. See, the times get jaded when you're living
I
like
can
that.
imagine, yeah.
It's really hard to put those things in place.
Yeah.
You know, and so one husband goes to prison for 11 years, right? Well, another excuse, I'm moving on to the next. You know, it kind of goes like that. It's this cycle that's like everybody that lived that knows, but like you said, it's the other side of addiction podcast. And so living in that, you're feeling a void with anything. Everything becomes an object. Every human even becomes an object of how you can get or feel better. You know, you kind of go through the emotions of life, but then it's like that 5 o'clock drink and you're excited and it always turns into whatever hurt you in the first place that you're feeling that void with alcohol or the occasional cocaine. So when I'm growing up, like it wasn't heroin and Oxycontin and all these things that are so huge in the world right now that are killing people. Not that the other ones weren't. Alcohol is serious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that. Cocaine is serious. Marijuana is serious. You know, all those things, those are serious things. But now you get into a whole nother animal, right? I'm in a marriage that I find out that, so let me move forward with just my next step of how I become not only dancing with the devil, I become the devil himself. Literally, I move into a whole different kind of an addiction. It's no longer feeling a void and feeling, you know, oh, poor pity me, and I'm drinking. You know, in those moments, you're not telling people that. I'm owning it completely different than you are in those moments. What can I get? Oh, I just can't get out of this and that. And, you know, I'm with my new husband and I'm noticing things dwindling. You know, we have homes, we have cars, we have things. I'm noticing things dwindling around the house, if you will. Again, I'm not the best wife. I have no integrity at that moment. I'm deceitful as well. So not only am I sketched out with things he's doing, I'm a sketchy person, if you will. And so I confront him and I ask him, oh, actually, I walk in on him. Pardon me. I walk in on him snorting some Oxycontin. Sorry, I get really vivid with it. But again, I'm like, what the hell? Not Sharon? What's that?
Yeah,
That's
what's
the kind
up
of
with
person
this?
I am. Not what are you doing? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, what are you doing? How are you wrecking?
How
What are you
the
wrecking
hell
everything
you got
here?
me?
Yeah. Why are you not including me?
Well, basically, like, what the heck is this new thing? And he tells me he's been sick for quite some time. And I don't want to go into his story, but I jump. That's my personality. I jump. Show me what's so great. And not only do I go from that, you know the next thing. I'm sure you hear it all the time. You go into heroin. It's cheaper.
Yeah, cheaper and easier to get.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not only losing houses and all those things. This is where I lose my soul. I start losing, you know, my any sense of, oh, I can't take care of my kids. Will you help me? You know, family step in. Will you take my children? Now we've lost our home. Within 5 years, we lost everything. You know, and we established some stuff. Yes, I was an alcoholic, but I still had, you know, there's some good things about me too. I am talking about all those ugly, but I had a heart. I had some things that, you know, I cared about people and stuff like that, but nothing else mattered after that. You go into that monster, nothing else matters. And I'm not saying that. I want to be sensitive. That, well, not
So
really
you were
sensitive.
you were able to give the facade of who you were, but you still had that dark side that was really
for only so long, right? So within those 5 years, you got everybody coming around. I mean, I'm sick. The only thing I want you to bring me is, you know, whatever's going to help me use what I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and it's turned dark really, really fast. Started to, you know, go to jail, stuff like that. You'd be clean for a minute. What really is clean, you know?
Would you go to jail for the DUI things, or would it be more
DUIs.
for criminal things that were still taking place at that part of your life?
At that part of my life, it wasn't. It was more DUI. Great question. DUIs.
So again,
like that.
red flags for you, your family,
charges.
whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the part that I miss is not only am I going down that path, I'm bringing my family and people into it. I mean, I'm now the person that's providing that. Yeah. You know, so all those things come full circle. Now I'm that provider and I see a different value in drugs, and I'm now starting to see the sickness that comes with it. You know, and so...
When you say provider, you were then selling at the time or providing for it?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm not some huge drug dealer. I'm not carting it across...
Yeah, no.
You know, that was at 17 when I didn't realize I was doing it.
Yeah.
You know, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
That's my saying these days. Is that's how I live, where you're just like, you know, it's not like that. It's... you're bringing others down so you can get what you want, and you're living in that me, and it doesn't get any better. My life actually gets a lot worse. I have little stints of like, I go to college and I get a degree in massage therapy, and I do amazing. I am clean and sober off of that stuff, off of heroin, but I'm still drinking. I'm still compromising here and there. Going around the same people. That'll be your downfall every time. That's for the other side, for people to hear that.
Yeah.
The other side of addiction. I mean, if they're going and immersing in the same crowds, I don't care how strong you think you are, there's always a better day that's going to come and hit you in the booty.
Al knows my story about my daughter. Maybe we'll throw that in sometime here in a bit too. But she's just recently gone through that, and she has said, "Dad, you've always said, show me your friends, show me who you're surrounding yourself with, and I'll show you, and I'll show you my future." And I've used that for a lot.
You know what? That's a beautiful saying.
She has now said, "Dad, I realized I have cut out all of my past, all of my friends that I had, and I'm creating new ones that are more like you, Dad, and more." And it's like, you talk about emotion.
Well,
that's now the thing. And she's 24 and pregnant, and kind of in a similar scenario. We'll talk about that later, after being sex trafficked and all that stuff recently.
Oh.
And so we're in this whole thing right now, and I'm seeing that same thing where she's becoming that woman that finally, she needed to make those choices and decisions, but it's been so hard. And so I can only feel from my experience, but from your experience to do that, I can feel for you and what you're going through and how you're clouded and you're confused, but you want to do what right by your kids and do your right by your husband and supporting, but yet that's got to be tough.
Oh, well, it did. It goes to a whole different feeling, because clouded and drinking and partying, doing all those things and feeling the void. But when you get to a true sickness, I mean, I was sick. If I did not have it, you get sick. There was many times I didn't allow myself to get there, by the way, unless it was by choice. So you can imagine it starts back up with crime and all those things. Once I've removed, the kids are with family now. But I started making decisions. I mean, I would make a decision to get better, and I would literally go through the withdrawals, raw and uncut, like no, nothing, be sick for weeks, barely can walk. Go through all of that, and I'd pick up again after so long, and you're doing so good, and it's like, I could do it once.
Yeah, I got it.
No.
I got it.
No, you can't. I don't care who you are. Do not compromise. And that's where I start to, go really down. I start losing, not only am I not a woman of my word anymore, you can't count on me. I need something from you. I've just lost. My family's finally like, we lose our home. So, of course, I'm whoever I can hang out with, where I could stay, and then eventually it gets too much, and you got to go home. You got to go somewhere. Nobody really wants you around, or you become angry, or whatever that looks like, those situations. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. This is kind of where you get lost in the weeds, because it's so much silly and just crazy stuff that goes on in your life that you make decisions to be a part of again. But finally, my family's like, no, do not come here. Like, they were scared of me. I was a lunatic. Literally, my brothers were scared of me.
Scared of you and what you might bring around.
Why are you showing up at mom and dad's? What are you doing? I needed that. Because then I'm like, really have nothing. Like, this isn't just the 14-year-old drifter that needed to go down the street to find the women connection. This is like, holy crap, I am out here. Now I'm wandering the streets. Now I literally don't have that to fall back on. Now, that's a hard choice for people, and a hard choice for family and parents, because when I chose to get clean for a while there, and I went through college and all of that, they all chose to get clean too. Not that they were all using, but a few, without saying names, a few were sprinkled in there, and, they chose to get clean. It wasn't an everyday thing anyways. They could use it, and they could still maintain their life. Yeah. I take it to a whole nother level. I'm not dabbling. I take it to the next level, and it's to the extreme. And so having them do that at the time, you don't feel like that's what's going to help. And I can only imagine how hard that was for them to have my brothers come kick me out of their house. The people that I have affected, seeing me like that is where I hurt. And that's where I get passionate in not only my job and how I use my voice now to help others, that is probably the hardest thing that a family member would have to see, is somebody that sick. I mean, sick.
Yeah.
losing weight, you're just not clean, you're on the streets, you're not the same person, your countenance is gone. You have nothing. I'm just a shell at that point, that tore at me with what the heart that I still had. That was enough that I would walk in the streets or whatever, hanging out with my people that weren't, they're not. Those are only accomplices.
Yeah, they're
Things
not there
only
for
get
your
worse.
best interest, yeah.
Well, and they're also there for their interest.
Well, of course.
Oh, yeah, everybody's like,
course.
where are we going to go? How are we going to figure this out?
Yeah,
And so now you've got the group saying, hey, we're more powerful in a group. Let's go do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we move forward, let's stop for a quick commercial break, and then we'll come right back because, again, we got to respect your time.
This is intense.
You're all right.
I know. I wish we had like a couple hours on this one because my head's just flying with so many different things. But so guys, stay with us and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Have you ever been in a car accident? Do you know what to do after being in a car accident? Are the insurance companies going to take care of you? Hi, I'm attorney Rick Heaton with the Law Office of Bobby Udall. I will help you through the process and answer all of these questions. I give every single client my cell phone so they can talk to me whenever they need. Let me deal with the insurance company so you can focus on getting better from your injuries. Call me at 385-330-0226. Again, my cell phone number, 385-330-0226. Don't call the insurance company first. Call attorney Rick Heaton at 385-330-0226.
Hello, my friends. This is Brad Neufeld, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Resilience Talk Network. You can listen to my show, Resilience, every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. On my show, we will be discussing what it takes for you to overcome the day-to-day challenges that all of us face in life, as well as some of the devastating ones that may lead us to feelings of hopelessness and despair. It's my goal to provide you with the tools and skills that you need to overcome anything that is thrown your way. To find out more about my show, visit our website at www.resiliencetalk.com. That's www.resiliencetalk.com. And as always, until we meet again, go for everything that you want in life and make it happen.
Good morning, this is Leticia with Computer Hospital. We are your computer repair experts for both PC and Mac. We are your community resource for all of your computer repair needs. What makes us different is that we want to fix your computer. We also do free diagnostics. We charge a flat rate labor, which means that you won't pay by the hour. All of our computer repair is done in-house with a fast turnaround time, and same-day service is also available. Feel free to stop by anytime without an appointment. We're located in Sandy at 8721 South State Street. Again, that's 8721 South State Street, or call us at 801-987-3993. Again, that's 801-987-3993. This is Leticia with Computer Hospital, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Hello there, this is Brad Neufeld with the Resilience Talk Network, and I would like to introduce to you Taffytown, one of our newest sponsors. Let me introduce you to Derek.
Hi, I'm Derek from Taffytown. We're proud sponsors of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Taffytown is a family-owned and operated business still operating in the Salt Lake City area for over 100 years. We manufacture some of America's best saltwater taffy.
What makes Taffytown stand out from all of the others?
We have a unique recipe, a whipped-style recipe that incorporates egg whites, evaporated milk, real sea salt. It's a unique product that is flavorful, melts in your mouth, and the best part is we probably have a flavor for anyone's liking, a flavor for any reason, for any season. We have unique flavors like chicken and waffles, maple bacon, frosted cupcake. New this year was a pineapple ghost pepper flavor.
That's awesome. Where can people find out more about Taffy Town and all of its products?
You can check all of this stuff out. All of our products are available for sale on taffytown.com. We ship for free from our website, so all of our pricing on there is shipping included. Oftentimes we offer special promotions and discounts to our loyal customers, so do be sure to sign up for an account, and we look forward to seeing what we can do to make you smile with our taffy.
Where are you located?
We are currently located at 9813 South Prosperity Road in West Jordan, Utah, just at the foothills of the Copper Canyon Mine.
Derek, taffy has always been a great gift to give. What are some of the creative ways Taffy Town can help say thank you to others?
Yeah, if you're looking for gift ideas, whether to say thank you to friends or family, or maybe to your clients after such a difficult or successful year that you've had, you could look no further than to get a gift idea from taffytown.com. We offer prepackaged gift boxes that say that it's saltwater taffy from the city of the Great Salt Lake, and it tells a little bit about the history of our community and making candy for so long. You can also do customized gifts to pick out just the right flavors or colors of candy for that special someone, and deliver even a personalized message in that box to them. So please feel free to check out taffytown.com for any gift ideas this season.
Thank you so much, Derek. Please visit taffytown.com. That's taffytown.com to find out more about the products and services that Taffy Town offers. You won't be disappointed.
Do you know someone who's gambling with death due to an addiction? Do you know someone whose life is being turned upside down due to a loved one that's battling with addiction? Hi, I'm Al Richards. I am the host of the Other Side of Addiction podcast. I started the podcast due to my wife's battle with alcohol. Let's just say I became addicted to her addiction. Our podcast is helping people understand a little more about those who have battled addiction and those who are hurting from their addiction. Through raw vulnerability, we share stories that help uncover the root causes of addiction. Shame felt on both sides, matter of the conscious and subconscious mind, continued beliefs, and often confusing paths of recovery. We collaborate with real people and their stories, as well as licensed professionals, to help our audience gain a better understanding of addiction. You can find us on Resilience Talk Network. You can also find us on Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. That's Facebook at Mr. Al Richards. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look up the Other Side of Addiction podcast. Everyone, welcome back to the Other Side of it. I almost said the Other Side Academy. The Other Side of
for
Addiction.
For a while there, you would say the other side of the academy.
Yeah. So and it's easy. It's easy to do because, like TJ was saying at the beginning of it, it just kind of
merged the Other Side of Addiction and the Other Side Academy together.
Yeah, and I have the utmost respect for all you guys, and again, I've built some new relationships with people from the Other Side Academy. So we want to make sure, too, at the end of this, we give you an opportunity to talk a little bit more about the Other Side Academy.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. So, my gosh, again, Robyn, thank you so much for taking time out of your really busy schedule to be here. And during this first half of the show, I was picturing in my mind a cut, a little bit of Neosporin on it, a Band-Aid. Another cut, more Neosporin, another Band-Aid, to where now those Band-Aids are on there so thick, because that's one thing that with my wife's addiction, with her battle, and And I've heard it said many times at places from people, that have gone through the Other Side Academy and people from other recovery centers, a lot of our guests, how it's not the drugs and alcohol, that's just the Band-Aid. We're just masking what it is that we're feeling. We're just trying to numb our pain and numb everything. And by the time we know it, like you said, you were in a lot further than waist deep. And I'm just picturing these stacks of Band-Aids.
Imagine pulling one off, but pulling all of them off. That's painful.
Of it. Well, and just the time. So it takes time to get you to where life is not manageable anymore, right? You've lost everything. I mean, our families, and of course I hid it from my family for a long time, but my wife's sisters and brothers didn't want anything to do with her. At times I didn't want anything to do with her. I threw her out on the streets, and then of course thinking I'd get peace, and realizing I didn't have peace because I was worried that she was so drunk someone was going to get her and rape her and do whatever. And because she had no clue what the hell was going on most of the time. Or also getting that phone call every time I got the phone ring and it was that unlisted number, I knew it was the cops. Right. And I'm thinking they just found her dead, because I didn't know being an alcoholic could kill you. I mean, I knew eventually, but especially when you're getting off of it, it can kill you. Oh, and the withdrawals are really, really bad. So anyway, I'm just picturing all this stuff as you were, as you're telling your story. And you're to the point now where you're saying your family didn't want anything to do with you. And I can imagine how hard that was.
Something that was said to me was more so that stuck with me. My brother said, it's not that we don't want you here.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see you die.
Amen,
I don't know how to help you.
Mm-hmm.
That left with me. We don't know how to help you. This is the only thing we have left to try.
Yeah. Yeah, and
tough love is one of the hardest things to implement for anybody.
I can't imagine. I'm so grateful that they're my best friends today. I mean, I've built, and we'll get into that. We built relationships again, and it was hard work. You lose all that trust, and you lose all hope in somebody and yourself, and to gain it back is not an easy road. Like you said, we'll get into that. But at this point, I'm just lost, alone on the streets. But it's so wild to me that the crazier the people I was around, the safer I felt. So you can imagine the situations I was putting myself in. It was like I wanted to be in the nitty gritty. It's not necessarily that's where I wanted to be, but that's where I dug myself. And I'm too prideful to ask for help. I mean, pride as a young girl, I carried all the same things that lost 14-year-old girl had. I carried all those things over into my adult years, but I never matured in any of that. Distanced myself so far from everybody that I was bouncing from hotel to hotel for 2 years before going in jail again. Mind you, I was in and out of jail over 20 times throughout that span of my life. Getting released or doing 30, 60, 90 days or, whatever that looks like. Slap on the wrist, really.
Yeah.
And so this last time, it was really, really life-changing, if you will. I was glad that I went to jail. I was soon not out there for the high. It was more survival. It was more the chaos and being a part of it, and you're just like in it. I started to become addicted to the lifestyle.
Again, that adrenaline within the lifestyle, it's still there.
It's still there.
Thrill seeker, as you said at the start. Yeah.
So, you can imagine that's when crime came in. I'm lucky I didn't land in prison. I'm lucky I didn't kill anybody, and I'm lucky I wasn't killed. Honestly, I'm very fortunate that I'm sitting before you today. We can go into the fact of that's how I hear about the Other Side Academy. Completely lost, broken, in jail. Somebody comes in and they're talking a little bit about the Other Side Academy. Nobody that works for them. It's just some lady. She actually usually works at the prison, and she goes in and she talks about another program to them. For some reason, she was at the women's pod. And when you're in there, beep, you want to get out. You're pushing your button to get out, right?
Yeah.
Yep, going to that class. Yep, I'm going to that service, whatever it is. And boy, I'm sure glad that I went into that classroom She didn't know much about the Other Side Academy. It was brand new. There was maybe 5 students there. They didn't even take women at this time. It was only men. It was October in 2015 that they started. So this was probably December or January that I heard about it. And so when she said, I got to find out more information, I'll let you guys know. Something was tapping me on the shoulder. Whatever you think, a God shot, whatever that is, something in me was like, you need to know more about this. I had never went to any other programs. I never asked for help. There wasn't a soul I thought could help me, to be honest. I was beyond help. I was broken. There was once you're down there, you don't think you can ever make it to here. And do you want to put in all that work that takes it to there? I don't even know what that looks like. I have no idea where to start. I have lost who I am. I have lost my family. That's my story. I can only imagine what they went through. And later I get to hear about that. And that's one of our steps. Yeah. At the Other Side Academy, you get to take accountability. You get to embrace humility. And so, again, sorry I'm wandering off.
No, it's okay.
She came back in and she had an address. She said, write a letter. They said, write a letter. There's 2 women there now. I know them now. They're my great friends. I love them so dearly. I write a letter and I'm actually getting released within a week. And they were very speedy in coming in and interviewing me. And there was something about that interview. I never had anybody talk to me like that. And I promise you it didn't end the way of me crying and saying, okay, I heard about myself. I got to tell my story a little bit. And of course, it doesn't come out like that. It's tell me about you and do you love your kids, things like that. And boy, I just got a shot of reality. Somebody just telling me, man, you put yourself here. Because it's true. I did. Yeah. My decisions landed me in jail over 20 times.
Reality of accountability first and foremost.
Yep. And something in that interview sparked me to where I wanted help even more than ever now. I'm like, I need this. And he says, I'm not going to tell you whether you're accepted or not. I'm going to tell you that if you get released, you better take your ass straight to the Other Side Academy or I'll tell you to get out of my home. Home. The light bulb went off. I was always searching for home. Home. Mm-hmm. I got to go home. I've been wanting to go home. I need to go home. So there was no doubt in my mind the moment that I was getting released that I was going there. But you have that little lag time. I'm in my own cell. You got the little tin mirror, right? And the self-talk kicks in. All right, what are you going to do? Yeah. I'm in there drilling myself. And boom, I'm released. I get an acceptance letter, so I know I'm going. But I'm released, and I start my walk. And I'll tell you what, I wanted to call Dad. I wanted to call my brother. I wanted to call all these people. But he told me, don't even go to McDonald's with your brothers. Don't go anywhere.
You just head straight there.
Yeah, but he didn't mean walk there. Like, that was just something I didn't have.
Right, yeah.
I didn't have anybody that I could call.
I was going to say, that was a question. How did you get there?
I walked from Salt Lake County Jail.
7 miles, something like that, right?
Yes, and this is a Sunday, mind you. So I'm thinking, really I wasn't. In that moment, what I was thinking is I needed to get there. I knew if I called my dad, he'd be there in a second and pick me up. I'd probably stop this place, and this place. I got real with myself real quick. Mm-hmm. The way that he talked to me in that interview, I'm telling you, I had fire. I had hope. I had a place to go that was free. I knew it was going to be hard. I needed a drill sergeant. Nobody could get through to me. I loved all of those pieces. But it was a place that I could live. It was a home that I could go and I could figure out what was broken. That's what I thought. I had a little piece broken. What do I need to fix? What's going on? But it was everything. I was more than broken. I was shattered. And so for somebody to walk in and give me hope that had went through not the same exact things I went through, but the same emotions, the same broken, the same everything, and to come in and say, look at me now, I wanted what he had. And yeah. I'm not talking about his watch or his suit or his I wanted that peace on the inside and his passion, and I wanted what he had, what he carried within him, right? So I didn't call anybody. I just started to make my way. I go to the track station, right? And this is going to sound brutal, but this is where I get a glimpse of everybody's an object. There's a man waiting for me to take his money. There's somebody waiting right there with drugs. I already knew one of the people there that had drugs. A woman waiting for me to help her get pimped out to the man that I wanted to take his money. And I'm just spinning. And I'm like, and I just throw my hands up. I'm frustrated. I have a bag full of stuff that you accumulate in jail that you don't need. Those stupid calendars, all these things that you don't need. And I'm trying to truck it along. So I'm slowly just getting rid of stuff. And I'm walking and I'm making my way there. And when I get there, I'm standing outside ringing a doorbell that doesn't work because I don't know that, right? But I'm standing there, and the guy that interviews me pulls in. And when he pulls in, 2 guys hop out, and I recognize one of them. I grew up with him. He's like a brother, if you will, but not like the close brothers I've been talking about. I mean, well, he is. He knew me throughout my life, It wasn't always using and all those things. But I'm like, hey, and he acted so different. He looked at me like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. And he walks in and I'm like, that's not the embrace, that's normal. And I look at the guy that interviewed me and I said, hi. He said, how can I help you? I said, I'm Robyn. You interviewed me in jail and I'm here. He says, whoa, you look like shit. Like, I just look different. You get out of jail, he's like, you look completely different. I don't know why I would look any better in jail anyway, but
it's the jumpsuit, I guess.
Well, it's all the clothes that you just got arrested in. Can you imagine? I'm just...
Yeah.
Let me interrupt one thing on that. One of the things I caught with that is, and this is that metaphor of life, you were getting rid of a lot of your baggage.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Letting
that
it go.
you went into a situation where you didn't have baggage.
Yep.
When you were saying you're getting rid of your calendars and this, that's all I could think of.
I was picturing that same
getting
thing.
rid of all of her baggage, so she's clean and ready to say, help me.
I pictured this big bag being dragged behind her, and it's just getting smaller.
That's
and smaller,
what I
smaller.
pictured
Well,
too.
it's a garbage bag and there's a rip in it. And you got folders and it's like, what am I going to do with this?
Well, thanks for leaving your garbage behind. Now continue
Absolutely.
on.
Well, he says, come in, and there's a bench that I'm sure you guys all have heard about. We're going to take you over to the Other Side Academy to have a tour. But that's literally a place that you sit, and you are placed by the front door. There's the window. We have beliefs that you're able to read on the wall. But you sit there, and we leave you there for quite some time. You're going to decide whether you're ready for this. The doors aren't locked. You got to really want change. And I could hear this lady just screaming in the other room, and I'm like, where am I? Yeah. People are bebopping by. Women come running down. Now I know, but I'm one of the 8 women, the first 8 women in the Other Side Academy. We all came within 2 months of each other. So they got a new sister, the sister connection I'm looking for, right? They come bebopping. Everybody's happy. And I'm like, why are these people so happy? I'm so broken. Why are they so happy? And I hear this lady just screaming, and the guy that I knew for over 20 years must have went in and said something for her to take me, and she just gave it to him raw, and it was truth. And she might be a good person, but she's not when she's on heroin. She's not when she's, out there robbing and stealing or taking from her family or not being a mother. And I could hear every bit of it, and I just broke on that bench and just surrendered. Like, I planted my stake so early. Hearing that, it was... I want this, no matter what. Like, this is where I need to be. She is speaking truth. For me to be able to swallow that and, now what I call embrace the humility of hearing about yourself. Mm-hmm. She hadn't even talked to me yet. I never even met her, but she had me pegged. She knew because she had been through it.
Yeah.
Her name is Lola Strong, and I love her. She's like a TOSA mother, if you will, to all of us. I got to go to Denver with her and help her launch the Other Side Academy out there. But that comes later. I had to put in the work. It's a 2.5 years now, but a program that you commit to that long is life-changing. It's not just about the 30 or 60, 90 days, that you think that that's the time that ends. At 2 years, I wasn't done. I'm sorry, can I stay? And you can. And you can.
Yeah.
And I chose to stay longer. The next year, they asked me to intern. And I interned and became staff. And I've been there ever since. And, we could talk a lot more about the Other Side Academy, but that's where my journey went. Leading me to the Other Side Academy.
For you to put your stake in the ground as you're sitting on that bench, to me is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And I went through just like this much of what people go through. So when Jeanette and I was there last December, when you guys invited me to come out and share my story, They did another tour, and they had to have this planned. They knew what they were going to do with me from the time I got there. But they took me in that little room, and they got in the circle. And they asked me, and there was both male and female there. And Janan was with me. And they said, do you want the G version or the X version? I says, well, give it to me however you give it to people that come in.
That's the X version.
And I tell you what, TJ, what they were saying to me, and they didn't hold anything back. I really thought that I was walking in there for help, and I had beads of sweat forming on my forehead. And I'm just going, holy shit. I can see how that works, because it had my mind running and thinking. And I hadn't even gone through not even a quarter, even a third, not even an eighth of what the people who go through that program have gone through.
Yeah, 'cause you didn't have the background, your personal stuff,
I was feeling it, yeah. And I mean, after, when we got done, I think it was, I don't remember. I don't think it was Diago, because I think maybe it was. But he's like, so how you feeling right now? And I'm like shit. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
It had me so shaken up, or shooken up. I don't know the proper way of saying that. I was like, my gosh, if this is what happens when you come through here. And I watched some of the YouTube videos that you sent me when we were first connecting of Dave, doing some stuff there and how they're calling people out on their crap. And just the light bulb started going off because of what Janan had gone through. She needed that. And that's hard for her. And it's hard for her to do that. You start calling her out on her crap, she's really good at turning it right back on you. So she's still working on that part.
Well, we all have our things,
right?
Absolutely, we all have our
yeah.
Achilles heel that we need to work on, and where we could do better, but you could see it. And that's what's so important of the Other Side Academy. With the Other Side Academy, literally, we are all in one space, and you are accountable for you and me. And if I'm doing something and you're not calling me on it, guess what? You're in more trouble than I am. Yeah. And when I say I planted my stake early on the bench, not many people, I'm not saying not many people did, but you'll hear throughout, time through the Other Side Academy when they chose to. Leaving was not an option for me. I didn't have time over my head. I didn't have anything. I did not want to die. I didn't want to find anybody dead again. I did not want to live like that. I was done. That was it. I was very, very fortunate that it was like, I don't know what it looks like, but give me what you got, because I don't know what I'm doing. So to immerse yourself in a culture like that of accountability and honesty and trust and examples can be very overwhelming, like he said, but I wouldn't want it any other way. If we were in a room and you saw something in me, I want you to tell me. If I came off a little bit rude, you want to, but you're not always like that. When you first get there, it is uncomfortable. You butt up against yourself, anger comes out, all those natural emotions that you think that you grow through as the child, right? Mm-hmm. When you stop growing, I stopped learning how to deal with emotions. I learned to mask them. Yeah. So to go through, okay, I'm really angry. No, I'm embarrassed. I don't even know the right words or the right feeling, where to place where. And so it's a safe environment to actually have constructive.
I was going to say, you have the vulnerability factor, but you also have the building trust of safety factor.
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, you're accountable for everybody in that house, including yourself. And so you speak up or get spoken to, basically. And you don't want to get spoken to. So if that's your motive at first, okay, I don't feel like somebody telling me, that I need to do this, or getting loud with me, if you will, because there's so many things which you're going to learn on your tour. But for everybody here, that's listening, you are a part of something that's bigger than you. Mm-hmm. You're a part of the solution instead of the problem now.
Yeah.
We wake up, we go to work. Yes, we start our own social enterprises that produce money to keep the doors open. 100% of the proceeds come back into the home to keep the doors open, to make it free for someone like me. I didn't have a dime to my name. There's no way my family could afford that. There's no insurance that would cover that long
hell no.
in a place. Yeah. And I didn't need somebody to give it to me soft. I didn't need somebody to tell me, oh, it's all right. And that, again, some people have changed through 30, 60, 90-day programs. Some people, do have therapists.
But behaviors take a lot longer to change.
But I wasn't that. I didn't need it that way. My population, they didn't need it that way. It wasn't working for them. Most of them have been through a lot of different programs, in and out of jail 15 to 20 times, right? It's not just for those people either. There's people that came off the streets that we have, oh my gosh, so much joy of having them in our home, but have changed completely. There's populations of people all over that could use the Other Side Academy, if not the whole world, honestly. Yeah. Everybody needs to be able to call each other on their
It's a community.
Stuff. Yes, I can
of
bring
strength.
I'm talking the newest person in the house can come and talk to me about whatever they need to tell me that they see in me. We have a game setting, like it's called Breakthroughs now. We've changed the name and it's Breakthroughs. But we have settings twice a week where you sit down and we've worked together all week long. Say I'm poking at you or I'm teasing you. You're expected to tell me not to do that. Because eventually you're going to blow. If you haven't started using your voice, you're going to at some point or another, and there's conflict, right? And it turns into a very dangerous situation. So we nip it in the butt right away, right? And sometimes it slips through the cracks, but it always comes out. It always comes out in the wash. And you got games where you sit. It's a safe environment. There's cardinal rules. You can't get out of your seat. Don't talk about physical things like people can't change or their family. You're going to bring behaviors. And it's uncomfortable. Nobody likes to hear. Janan's not the only one. Nobody likes to hear about themselves.
Well, I'm the same way. I'm not throwing everything out there like it's just her, because I have my pet peeves too that I'm still working on. Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what I'm meaning by that is I definitely didn't like to hear about myself, but I knew enough about myself that I would blow up. I once was told I would rather have 18 men in here than you here. Because people were that scared of me. Like I said, the crazier the people I was around, the safer I felt. Yeah. So imagine I would match their crazy. Like I was not a piece of cake. I was not a sweetheart to be around in those situations, And so to me, I felt like, I just needed to sit there and not say anything. Sorry, I'm just letting the room shake right now. I'm trying not to react, which was true. I didn't want to react poorly. Mm-hmm. But I also didn't allow myself to engage. So once a few go by and you start hearing, hey, you're not involving yourself. Hey, you're not saying anything. Care about your family. You're like, you blow. And then you start to find a balance. And so 2.5 years of living like that and doing those things and loving a family, because honestly, that's how you love somebody. You tell them where they're falling short, right? You embrace them. You care about them. You don't turn your back on them or use them as an object, and you learn those things throughout the everyday of waking up, going to work, having a good attitude, getting talked to when you don't, breaking a rule that seems so silly, like throwing something in the trash. Walk over and put it in there. How is that going to save my life? It's retraining your brain. Oh, yeah. So you stop and think before you react or before you do something.
That's my biggest quote with my kids.
Oh, yes. You use that all the time.
Listen to act, don't listen to react.
Right. Yep. Right. And so we do that every single day. I mean, when you see these beautiful people start to tap into their talents they were so ugly. I'm one of them, so ugly, and you don't think you can get there. You have no idea the talented people we have at our house right now.
I can imagine.
And I'm like,
I can't wait to.
Well, they don't even know they have it, right?
Yeah.
They've never done it.
Yeah.
They've never done it, but they get put in these situations or these roles, or we're helping the community here and there, and all of a sudden there's this beautiful thing happening, and you're like, you've always had that in you? Or, let it out.
All the talent that showed up at Recovery Day and got up there, and Clay and
Tyler.
Rufio got up and they started doing their rapping, and I'm not one that likes rap. But I tell you what, one of the songs that I recorded, I had frickin' goosebumps.
Well, they speak from...
it's the recovery part of things, and I was just in awe. And both those guys are talented as hell. Now, you've met our good friend Laban and his wife Anna, who traveled 2,000 miles to come to our summit. Yes. They're actually moving here. They're looking for a place to live. So when we all left that dinner after the summit, we were actually there was just a handful of us left. They were closing the place down. Well, when we left, Laban and Rufio and Clay, they were out in the parking lot. Uh-huh. Well, the Superpower song, that's Laban's theme song now.
Oh my gosh.
So Rufio says, it's yours. You want it, it's yours. So now, and I was telling him about a recovery day after they got off stage. I went over there and gave him a hug, and I was telling Rufio, I says, I was on a training call with Laban the other day, and I says, guess whose song started it out? He's like, are you serious? And I'm like, I'm serious as all get out, man. It was your song. He's like, that is so flippin' cool. So cool. The talent, the people that I have met, just as far as even all our guests, but the people that I have met from the Other Side Academy, I tell you what, have been some of the most inspirational people I've ever been around my whole flipping life. And I'm starting to get teary-eyed thinking about it because it's so true. The way they look at life and what they have all gone through, it's something that us on the other side, we need to learn from them. And I'm serious when I'm saying that. No. We had a beautiful lady on our show named Jennifer, and she's out of Arizona. And she's 19 years clean, and her son, who is in his 30s, still battling with addiction. And, she has that fear of probably like your family felt, the way I felt, probably TJ the same way, of getting that phone call saying, your daughter or your son or your mom or dad, they're gone. They're no longer here. They lost their battle. She was saying she was at church one day, and she was talking to someone that says, man, I just don't know. I've walked this addiction line myself, and I just not knowing for sure how to help my son, and I know it has to be up to him, not up to me. And she says, I'm just so worried that I'm going to lose him. And she said her friend told her that God has a way of those who have not been able to win the battle. God knows it's too tough for him, so he brings them back home to give them that peace. The ones that he keeps here, like yourself, Robyn, like Matt, like Robert, like Clay, Diago. I mean, who else have I met there? Dave. Dave and Colton. Just the short time I've got to know these people and all our other guests, she goes, these are the ones that God picks as his angels to now go out there and spread the word to help others. And when she said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, because when Jesus was here and he was picking his disciples to follow him, not a one of them was perfect. I mean, they all had problems. They all had issues. They all had their own troubles like all of us do on this earth. And he picked the imperfect ones to be his angels to spread the word. And that's how I see it. TJ made the comment the last time he was here that this is my therapy, and he called it Therapy Thursdays. And I says, you know what? That's exactly right, because I get to learn so much from people like yourself, Robyn, who have gone through a lot of shit in their life. Who knows? If I went through what you went through and a lot of our other guests, I could have been down that same damn road. Why I was able to veer off, because, I've done my bouts of drugs and drinking and stuff like that. And I could have gone down that same damn road. But here I am now, here being on the other side, and the people that I'm learning from is you guys.
This is a great segue for something I just shared with my daughter and brought her to tears literally just a couple days ago, because we're talking about how she's growing to be a woman with all the experience, all that stuff, and how certain people are in her life now, like my wife and things like that. She's pregnant. We've adopted our children. So my daughter, if she would have gone to my ex-wife about pregnancy, because she's pregnant, my ex-wife knows nothing about pregnancy. She's never been pregnant. Yeah. But she's here with my wife now and talking. And I said, we all, and please take this back to everyone, We all are an answer to someone else's prayer.
Oh, absolutely.
We all, and my daughter just broke down crying and said, Dad, you're absolutely right. And I said, and that's how I've been visioning it lately. We all are an answer to someone else's prayer. It might not be right now. It might be next week. It might be already in the past. It might be coming up. But we all are an answer to someone else's prayer.
Well, that's so beautiful because honestly, when I tell you that you're not going to get along with everybody. So at the Other Side Academy, you're put in groups. You always have to have a partner. You're not going to get along with everybody. The person that you get along with least is your greatest gift. That's where you get the most lessons is out of that person, and why do they get a rise out of you, or what are they doing? How can you help them? It's your greatest gift. And so there's so many things that we address there that is life-changing, not just at honesty and accountability, but they're learning, how to actually love and care for people, how to use their voice for good. And thank you. We absolutely love having you guys, learn about us, but we learn from you just the same. We love having the community support us and come in. This is the bottom 3% of the world, right? That's how they viewed us. To now, we are the top 3%. That's how I'm going to say it. Literally. Yeah. I mean, we're winning awards for our businesses, but we are at peace now. And it's not because we think that it's all right what we did. It's we own that and we choose not to live that way anymore.
Robyn, we have people that are listening here, obviously. They're on the other side of addiction. How can someone who needs the Other Side of Academy's help, how can people who feel they need to get some answers to see how they can provide help for someone else, how can they get a hold of the Other Side of Academy and you and have more of a discussion or a communication as to what's offered and how to provide help for others? Right.
Well, and it's real, right? This is a war that when you say angels, where I visualize what I'm seeing is we are frontline soldiers on a war that is like so devastating and will never be won, but can get better. If you know somebody that's struggling, or if you're struggling yourself, you will not be judged. You will be embraced. Give me a call. I'll give my number, 801-505-3936.
Again.
801-505-3936. Give me a call directly. We'll have a conversation. Again, we're not for everybody, but we are for some.
And you don't take everybody.
Well, we
you
don't.
Try to, but you don't have resources to do it all the time.
Stops. Like I said, we're not, there's some people that we're not able to help, but it doesn't mean they're beyond help. So I love to build resources. This is for people that are listening that maybe have a different program, that want to build a relationship with us. There's a lot of things that we aren't able to help.
When I say you don't take everybody, they have to want it.
They have to absolutely want it.
And be willing to put forth the work and the commitment to do it.
Yep.
And you're not going to pull the wool over your guys' eyes because you've all been there.
Oh, no. You'll go through an interview process. And like I said, the doors aren't locked. If you want change and you're able to, swallow your pride. I really had to. I was the most prideful person that I met. Dave always says something funny that men suffer from pride. Oh, yeah, women do too. I had a bad case. And now I actually have something to be proud of. My life is beautiful. I'm married. My kids, I'm rebuilding with my children. They're adults now, but for them not to trust me or have, even anything in me that they should follow, they now embrace me. My daughter's my best friend. I mean, we talk about everything, and she knows she can count on me. So do my other two. They know. Gabriel, Kobe, Alana, they all know they can count on me. They call me. If I say something, I'm going to be there. You learn that in the Other Side Academy. It's service of others, putting others first, right? Caring and bringing somebody up in the house did wonders for the broken inside of me, because I was like, I can't go back and I can't take care of my kids. I can't change that. No, but I can become better.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can become better by waking up. And if I make you a promise, guess what? I'm going to be there. When I made that decision, I've been a woman of my word ever since. If I can't make it, guess what? You're going to be the first to know. I can't make it, And that builds a trust within yourself and others that, I'll never lose that again. Going through all that dark, I'll never lose who I am today again. My integrity is the most important thing that I have.
I, for one, want to thank you.
I thought you were having me repeat after you.
I for one, want to thank you for making it today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
because this has been a very powerful,
Yeah.
emotional, and
Absolutely.
strong podcast for me to even experience.
It's a wild roller coaster, my life.
I love
huh?
it.
Definitely is. Robyn, yeah, I'm just going to go off what TJ said. Thank you so much for taking time, and it worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
Yes, it
You
did.
know, we had some reschedules because some calendar conflict with some of our other guests, and then I reached out to you. Colin was going to come in, and then he had something come up, and you're like, I'll step in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this happened for a reason. Everything happened just for this reason. And you know, earlier in the show, you talked about all the broken pieces that you had, that you were shattered, basically. Yeah. And when you said that, it reminded me of something I put on my Facebook page, I don't know, a long time ago. A disco ball is made of broken pieces of glass, and they've taken all those shatters, all those broken little pieces, and put it all together in a ball. And when you shine light on it, it just shows all kinds of different kind of colors, like a rainbow type of thing. And when you said that, that's what I picture you of now, just not as a disco ball, more than that. But I'm just kind of, you know, wanting to put it, just kind of giving people a picture of how I'm seeing it, you know. And I think it's great. I think it's great, and I love everything you guys are doing.
I love that because it does. It feels like a puzzle. You know, it's like, okay, honesty. Okay, that one doesn't fit yet. I need more work there.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
and then it comes together and it's something so beautiful. And like you said, you see that in all the people that we have at the Other Side Academy that you meet. They're still working on little pieces before their puzzle's complete. And guess what? It's never complete. I still have stuff to work on.
Oh,
my social circle, everything is completely different now, though. How I live is completely different, you know, and just being able to say, hey, I like you around, man. Not only do you call me on my crap, but we vibe well. We live healthy.
Yeah.
You know, we hold each other differently. So I just love that I made it today, too. I believe that it happened for a reason. I mean, he's like, gets out, and then I put the name together. I didn't even put the name together. I just, you know, I remember names.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, his name sounds familiar. Why? Not because of the cars. Is it Men Love Cars or something? Yeah. But I'm like, I've talked to this man. I remember. And so now meeting you and seeing you face to face, you have to come to the Other Side Academy.
Yeah, definitely.
I literally can talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but I will not do it justice until you feel it. And you're right. We do know what we're doing when you get there. We know that you are going to get dropped in the middle of our house, and you can ask anybody questions that you want. You could sit with anybody you want. We don't have plants in there just so they can tell you whatever we think you want to hear. You go in there, and we're an open book. And, you know, it's life-changing.
You know, and what I found really impressive is I've gotten better at names.
Yeah.
You know, someone taught me once that if somebody repeats their name twice to you, or if you introduce yourself twice, it helps you remember that other person's name. And I've gotten a lot better, and there's still some people that I have met at the Other Side Academy. I don't remember their names. I remember their faces. And I've been to some events where the Other Side Academy have been to some of these events. You guys have hooked up with Sarah, and you guys are kind of teamed up to do some things. And I tell you what, they make you feel really special. I'm looking at it as, and I don't know, maybe this is my ego creeping in where I'm thinking, okay, I need to help these people or make these people feel very special and how much I love them and all that. It's the other way around. I went up to, a matter of fact, it was Clay when we were at Liberty Park at one of the events, and he got up and he rapped and he talked about the Other Side Academy, and I finally told Janan, I says, I'm going to go over and introduce myself to this guy. And he's talking, and when he gets done, I tap him on the shoulder, and I said, hey, excuse me, and I turn around, and I said, hi, my name is, he goes, you're Al Richards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, how did you know this? And he goes, you came out and spoke last December. And I'm like, you freaking remember me? And he goes, absolutely. And another gentleman at Recovery Day. Our booth just happened to be kitty corner of the Other Side Academy.
I love it.
And I'm over there doing this video, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, and all of a sudden he comes up and he puts his arm around me and he goes, what's up? You know, and I'm like, hey, dude. And I recognized his face. And it is so awesome because you feel so loved. So much love from every single individual. And even when you're there touring, I felt the same thing. The first day I walked in and met Robyn for the first day, or for the first time, I walk in there and people are like, hey, how you doing? Hi. I mean, you're getting it from every direction.
Hi, I've been here a week. Hi, I've been here a year.
And I remember walking in, and I remember there was a gentleman sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
Just sitting there. And I remember a story Dave told me once when you introduced me to Dave. And he says, yeah, there was a gentleman that came in here, and he sat on that bench for 2-3 hours, and he got up and left. And I thought, yeah, well, I guess he's not ready. And he says, I look out my window, and he's sitting on the curb.
Yes.
Next thing I know, I look out there on the curb, and he's gone. And I'm like, well, I guess he left. And he says, then I get up and I go down the hall. Guess who's sitting on the bench? It's him. And then I come out a couple hours later, and I look, and he's gone again. I look back outside. He's sitting on the curb. Next thing I know, I look outside. He's not there anymore. I come back in. He's sitting on the bench again. And he goes, this guy did this for hours. Yeah. And he ended up sitting there, and they ended up accepting him. We had Shawnee on our show. His show just came out like about a month ago. He told me, he mentioned you guys. Yeah. He said, I only made it 6 months.
Yeah.
But he's, I think, 18 months or more clean and sober
even
right
with
now.
A little bit of that, I mean, you get
Yeah.
something no matter what. I mean, you like he's saying, you have to come so you can feel it.
Absolutely.
And honestly, Al, of course they remember you. Like I said, these are people that are put away that most people not forgot about. They excuse themselves from the world, honestly. And to have somebody come in and show vulnerability and love and interest in them, of course they remember you. And that's where I want to go with that. If there's people out in the community and they want to know about us, you know, come and see us.
Absolutely.
Give us a call. Do you want me to give them the number
absolutely.
again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come
Shoot
to
it
the Other
out
Side
there.
Academy. We're on 667 East, 100 South, Salt Lake City, Utah. Give us a call. Again, my number is 801-505-3936. Or you can call the front desk, 801-953-0409. If you want to come into our thrift stores, I mean, we're there. Please, if you want to come donate or you want to come shop and have a great experience, go to the Other Side Thrift Boutiques. We also have a moving company called the Other Side Moving and Storage. Sorry, we added a piece.
The number one, right?
The
number one moving company here.
And the thrift stores won number one. I don't know if that came out yet this year, I think, but last year for sure. They take pride not only in the things that they're doing, but they're paving the way for people out there that need to come sit on the bench and change their life. So if you're somebody that needs that, come and see us. We're there. We're an open door. It's an open door policy for anybody. No matter how you think you can help or we can help you, please call us.
The other thing I'd add is donations. Any donations, any love gifts
absolutely
are, I'm sure, accepted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and they've got some great stuff over there at the thrift stores.
Absolutely. It's a fun experience. Please go there and visit.
Robert gave me a great tour.
I knew he would.
Great tour.
That's why I sent you his way.
Yeah.
So go see a little bit of Robert.
He was awesome. Robert's a great guy. Every time I see that guy, I go up and give him a huge hug. I mean, everyone. Yeah, everyone. So
And real quick, talk about the tiny houses real quick before we go.
So it's called the Other Side Village, right? And so we're still in the beginning stages of trying to figure out whether, it's going to be accepted by the city. We just went to see the city and see if, they're going to allow us to build it where we want to build it and if it's going to cost or not cost. There's just so much that goes into that. But a lot of the things that I tell you, we have hard stops that we're not able to help with. The Other Side Village is. And so it is for chronically homeless. There's an interview process. There's, things that you have to do, but it's set up just like the Other Side Academy. It's going to be based on honesty, accountability. You're not going to have people that are just laying out onto the roads. They're going to have their area that they have to keep tidy. They're going to be small little communities that hold each other to a different level against social enterprises that provide for their community. Those most lost amongst us, right? Yes. So, there's that mental health piece that people that we are unable, our approach wouldn't help. They need to be on their medications and stuff like that. And so there's a whole ton of people that are coming together and trying to make it the best as possible. And guess what? We're not afraid of anything. The Other Side Academy, there's one thing about us that if it's not working, we're not afraid to put a bullet in it and try something else. We're not perfect. We just want to help. We're not only using our voice, we are putting boots on the ground and we are helping. that's what we want to do, so that's.
I love it.
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you're
why
welcome.
I love these guys. And Robyn, and please share this with Dave. And I think I've mentioned this to him as well. But anything we can do here on the other side of addiction and Resilience Talk Network.
Yes.
Both Brad and I have talked about this. I mean, we're here for you guys. If there's something you want to promote, you guys are more than welcome to come in. We'll schedule time to come in here. We can do videos with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Just let us know.
Okay.
We're here with open arms, and
You know what, I will.
we want to help you guys as much as possible. We want to just join links with you guys, and anything we can do to help spread the word. And
I also have a friend
do
that does a Salt Lake Spotlight, and I was talking to him about you guys the other day, and he does videos and puts it out there, and I want him to come down and do a Salt Lake Spotlight.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
We
I
would
think it
love
would be
that.
great.
James Preston is a great guy, and
Yeah.
he works actually for the Utah government, but this is what he does on the side, and he's passionate about getting out there what people are doing and are making a difference.
We love
love
that.
it.
There was so long in our life, as you heard, not just my story, but many others, that we were part of tearing down this community, and all we want to do is help rebuild it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and what better? I mean, gosh, it's like so in the concrete world, because I do concrete also on the side. There is like a 6-bag mix, a 7-bag mix, and then there's like a chemical concrete that we use for a lot of different things. And we tell people that actually the chemical concrete is stronger than the concrete you get.
Yeah.
And that's how I see you guys. You guys were out running amok and causing hell in the community, and now you're coming back and you're doing everything you can to rebuild this community. And by doing that, you're making it better than what it was before. And that's how I see it. So again, thank you. Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
Robyn, thank you again so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. TJ, yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Anytime,
And it's kind of cool because you agreed to come on as the guest co-host before Robyn was even going to come on. So again, I think
She's an answer to my prayers. I tell you that. It's,
yeah,
it's
it
like
worked
I said,
out.
everyone's
It
an
worked
answer to
out.
someone else's prayers.
Yeah. And I when Brad asked, he's like, "Who's coming in today?" And I'm like, "Robyn from the Other Side Academy." And he said something about, "You always bring these beautiful ladies in all the time." So yeah. So anyways,
Brad.
All right, hey
Did
guys.
Brad say that, or he said
No,
that?
Brad said that. Brad said that. Yeah,
he's not here, so we can't talk to him.
Yeah, well, it's recorded, so he's got me.
Hi, Brad.
He's got me.
You're right. That's actually the strength.
And I'll come
is
dressed for the
women.
occasion next time, Brad.
Yeah, we'll have TJ dressed for the occasion. Hey guys, again, thank you to all our sponsors out there and all our listeners. If it wasn't for you guys, none of this would be happening. So we have a plethora of sponsors. Just love you guys and appreciate. Thank you for believing in what we're doing here. All our incredible guests and guest co-hosts that come in. Guys, this is all possible because of you. And Brad and I are working our butts off to build this thing even bigger and better. And we've got so many things we're talking about doing. And again, we wouldn't have made it as far as we've made it so far if it wasn't for all you guys, especially our sponsors, because you guys have helped get our signs and more cameras and different things. If you go back and look at our first show compared to what our shows look like now, it's because of you guys. It's not because of us. I get emotional talking about it because it's so true. None of this would be possible if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you very much. Love and appreciate every single one of you. And remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.